Hello everyone, welcome back to Ace Wisdom. They thought you'd break first. They thought you'd be the one to fold, to chase, to check their story, to leave the door cracked just enough for their ego to slide back in. But you didn't, and now you flipped the script. See, most people talk about no contact like it's a tactic to get someone back. But this series, this movement, this mindset, it's not about getting them back, it's about getting you back. And nothing makes an avoidant spiral more than seeing the version of you they never expected to meet. The version that doesn't beg, doesn't explain, doesn't entertain breadcrumbs or second chances wrapped in manipulation. You became the plot twist. Let's get one thing straight right now. They didn't leave because you were weak. They left because your strength started making them feel exposed, uncomfortable, seen. So what did they do? They pulled away, went cold, played mind games, pushed you to a breaking point, and maybe, just maybe, you almost folded. But here you are, Volume 4, Episode 22. You've survived the emotional withdrawals, the silence, the sickening illusion that maybe they didn't care at all. But guess what? They do, and they're about to regret everything. To every loyal viewer who's been here since episode 21, I see you, I respect you, and if you're here for week 3, you've officially crossed into rare territory. Because this week, their mind games fail, yours begin. He who angers you, controls you. Epictetus. They used to know how to pull your strings. They knew which text would make you overthink for hours, which breadcrumb would reel you back in, which passive-aggressive post would make you spiral. But you've been doing the work. You've been studying the silence. You've been rebuilding not just your confidence, but your edge, and they can feel it. You're no longer reacting. You're observing, detached, focused, calculated. And that is what triggers the timeline of regret. Now let me be brutally honest, most people will never get to this point. They'll check their phone after 3 days of silence and break down. They'll make excuses, they'll re-enter the same cycle and call it love. But you've chosen the high road, you've chosen discomfort over desperation, you've chosen power over panic. And because of that, you're now in the position of ultimate leverage. Let me explain why this episode is not like the others you've seen. We're not talking theory here. We're talking real psychological shifts mapped across time. We'll break down exactly what's happening inside your avoidant ex's head on day 1, day 7, and day 21. This isn't some vague timeline. This is behavioral psychology, proven, patterned, predictable. And once you see it clearly, you'll never be on the back foot again. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Sun Tzu. Your avoidant ex is not a mystery. They're just a mirror, a reflection of every wound they never faced, every vulnerability they buried beneath charm, distance, and control. But the one thing they didn't expect? You learning the rules. You flipping the game, you staying silent, not out of weakness but discipline. Let me warn you though, this isn't for the emotionally lazy. This isn't for people still holding on to hope wrapped in fantasy. This is for the ones ready to weaponize their peace. For the ones who finally understand, silence is a message, distance is a boundary, not responding is a response. And if you watch this episode till the end, not only will you understand why your avoidant ex regrets losing you, you'll see exactly when the power dynamic starts to shift. And when it does, there's no going back. So if you're done guessing, if you're done wondering whether they care, or if you're just wasting your time, watch this video all the way through. Because I'm not just breaking down what's happening now, I'm giving you a map to everything that's about to happen next. And the first person to comment the secret mantra in key point 4, you're getting pinned. Let's see who's really listening. But before we dive deep, do this now. Subscribe to the channel. because we're only halfway through Volume 4. Like this video if you're done settling for breadcrumbs. Comment below the words, "Their silence is my strategy." Let that be your line in the sand, your declaration that you're done performing, done proving, done letting someone else's dysfunction define your self-worth. And if you're ready to go even deeper, join the channel membership now. Get exclusive breakdowns, members-only videos, and direct strategies for taking back full control of your emotions, your energy, and your future. Because at this point, this isn't about getting them back. This is about getting ahead. Let's begin. Avoidant Ex Regret Timeline. Day 1, Day 7, Day 21, and everything that flips in your favor at each point. Time to expose it all. Let's go. Stay focused. Day 1. The mask of indifference, but the confusion already started. Let's not sugarcoat it. Day 1 is when the avoidant acts like they're fine, but deep down, the cracks are already forming. They'll post something casually indifferent. They'll look calm, unbothered, maybe even flirtatious with someone new. And it's easy to think, damn, did they ever care at all? But here's the truth most people miss. Avoidants don't grieve in public. They grieve in silence. But only after they've convinced themselves they didn't need you in the first place. Day 1 isn't when they feel loss. It's when they start performing stability for themselves and for anyone watching. But inside, they're confused. Because you didn't chase. You didn't plead. You didn't panic. You didn't show up in their DMs or send some weak, open-ended, just checking in text. And that wasn't part of the script. See, avoidants expect emotional validation, even after a breakup. They expect you to come crawling, to prove they still matter, to try and earn back your place, even though they were the one who pushed you away. But your silence, it disrupts the narrative. And when that happens on day 1, their mind doesn't go to peace. It goes to chaos. Here's the psychology. Avoidants regulate their emotions by deactivating attachment, which means downplaying the connection, avoiding intimacy, and mentally rewriting history to protect themselves. But when you don't play your part, when you don't react how they needed you to, they don't get the emotional closure they were counting on. That void. It doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like confusion. Their brain goes, wait, wasn't I supposed to feel better than this? They were expecting post-breakup euphoria. Instead, they're met with a haunting, empty silence. No attention, no validation, no confirmation that they still have a hold on you. And while they might tell themselves, this is what I needed, there's a lingering whisper in the back of their mind. Why do I feel unsettled? Now this is where the danger kicks in. Instead of sitting with the discomfort, they'll double down on distractions. They'll post something fun. They'll talk to someone new. They'll pretend this breakup was a mutual decision, even if you know damn well it wasn't. It's all emotional self-preservation. But guess what? It's all built on denial, and denial has a time limit. Day 1 is not peace. It's posturing. A costume worn to convince you and themselves that they're in control. But the second you stay calm, the second you don't respond, the second you own your silence like it's strategy, they feel it. They don't say it. They don't show it. But they feel it. That eerie stillness that follows your absence. That's not relief. It's the slow, creeping realization. They're not coming back. And that thought is terrifying. Here's the brutal irony. Day 1 is the moment they're most confident you'll crack, but also the moment you start becoming unreachable. So remember this. If they can pretend to be okay, you can choose to actually be okay. Not out of spite, not to manipulate, but because peace is your new power move, and silence is your revenge. We're about to dig deeper into their crumbling defense mechanisms when their mind stops running from you and starts running toward you again. Let's keep going. Day 7, the curiosity phase. Why haven't they reached out? By day 7, they expected to see a text, a slip-up, a missed call, a sign that you cracked first. But there's nothing, just silence. And for the first time, it doesn't feel empowering. It feels weird, off, unnatural. Because let's be real, avoidants thrive on control. They feel safest when you're orbiting around their hot and cold energy. But by day 7, you've stopped orbiting. You've become your own planet, and they're no longer the gravitational center. So now, that carefully crafted story they told themselves, they were too much. They needed me too much. I had to leave. It starts to feel hollow, because if all of that were true, why the hell haven't you chased? Here's the shift. Day 1 was ego. Day 7, it's ego plus uncertainty. And uncertainty is what breaks avoidance. You see, avoidants hate not knowing where they stand. They'll pretend they don't care, but they always want a line back to you, just in case they ever need your validation again. That breadcrumb, that emotional hook, it's how they keep the upper hand. But when you go ghost with discipline, when your energy doesn't peek back in, not even a like or a story view, you steal their control. And when they lose control, they start monitoring you. They might not message you, but they're watching, checking your online status, peeking at your social circle, lurking from burner accounts, reading into what your silence might mean, not because they miss you yet, but because they're confused, curious, and shaken. To be uncertain is to be uncomfortable, but to be certain is to be ridiculous. Goethe avoidants built their entire emotional safety net around the certainty that you'd still be there, that you'd always be an option, that no matter how much distance they created, you'd still reach for them. But now that you've disappeared, they're forced to face the one question they're terrified to ask. Did I misjudge their attachment? Because if you really were too attached, where's the reaction? Where's the begging? Where's the pain they expected to see you spiral into? Now they're replaying old memories, reading between lines that don't exist, asking themselves, did I mean less than I thought? Did I overplay my hand? Are they seeing someone else? It's not guilt yet, not regret, but it's the opening scene, and it plays on loop in their mind. Why haven't they reached out? Now here's the dangerous part. They start poking, not full contact, not an apology, just small tests, a random view on your story, a meme sent out of nowhere, a vague comment on something from your past, or worse, complete silence, but indirect posts that are clearly meant for you. They want to see if you'll bite, because here's what they're really thinking. If they respond, I'm still in control. But if you stay silent, if you don't flinch, don't post emotionally, don't respond to the bait, that's when the curiosity turns into anxiety. By day 7, they haven't lost you physically, but they're starting to fear they've lost you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and that is what an avoidant cannot tolerate, losing someone who stopped needing them back. So what should you do? Nothing. Let their curiosity burn. Let the silence scream louder than any rant or regret post ever could. Because right now, you're not losing them. They're losing access to your energy. And your energy was the only thing that ever made them feel safe. You took it back. Day 21, the collapse. Wait, what if I actually lost them? 3 weeks, 21 days. That's the threshold where everything they've been repressing crashes through the surface. Because here's what you need to understand about avoidance. They don't process loss in real time. They suppress it, they postpone it, they numb it. But the pain doesn't disappear, it just delays. And when it finally lands, it hits like a truck. Day 1 was confusion, day 7 was curiosity. But day 21, it's collapse, because this is when their fantasy ends. The illusion that you'd eventually fold, that you'd probably send something, that you were just trying to prove a point, all of it dies in silence, and the avoidant brain, which was once calm, cocky and cold, now becomes chaotic, compulsive, and deeply conflicted. They start having intrusive thoughts like, wait, did I actually ruin it? What if they really moved on? Why does it feel like they left me now? That reversal of power, that psychological flip, it shakes them, because for the first time they're forced to look at the reality they tried so hard to deny. You're not waiting anymore, you're not hurting anymore, you're not reachable anymore, and that's when they stop asking passive questions and start spiraling into fear-driven scenarios. The spiral looks like this. They start stalking harder, they dig into your past posts, they analyze every emoji you drop, they look for signs. A new haircut, a new vibe, a new you. They start comparing you to anyone else they've ever dated, and no one compares. Because now, it's not just that you're gone, it's that you're glowing in your absence. That evolution you started in week 1, they can feel it now, and it terrifies them. We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. Anais Nin. Avoidants don't grieve your absence for who you are. They grieve it when they realize what they lost inside themselves. They didn't just lose a partner, they lost the mirror, the one that reflected back their potential, their comfort, their connection. They lost the version of themselves that felt safe with you, and when they realized they traded that for solitude, surface flings, or shallow control, the regret becomes unbearable. But here's the sick twist. They probably still won't reach out. Not yet. Why? Because their shame is stronger than their desire to reconnect. Their pride is louder than their pain. So instead, they suffer silently. They mask it. They post cryptic things. They fake confidence in public but unravel at night. They become haunted by the version of you they can't get back. The version who finally realized their worth. And every day you stay silent, that ghost grows louder. By day 21, they're not wondering if you'll reach out. They're wondering if it's already too late. They don't miss the relationship. They miss the control, the access, the comfort of knowing they still had a grip on your emotions. But now, that grip is gone, and your glow-up, your peace, your power, it's untouchable. So what do? Nothing. No message. No validation, no olive branch. Because right now, you're not punishing them. You're just no longer enabling them. And that's what true detachment looks like. After day 21, the boomerang phase, when everything they buried comes back to break them. After day 21, the silence isn't just noticed, it becomes unbearable. This is where the regret stops whispering and starts screaming, because by now it's no longer about curiosity, it's no longer about control, it's about consequences. Their avoidant fantasy, the idea that you'd just stay stuck in limbo, emotionally tethered to them forever, dead. That little emotional safety net they stitched together by breadcrumbing, posting strategically, or pretending they never cared. It rips apart, and what's left? Nothing. Nothing to distract them. No emotional leash to yank you back in. No power left to pull from your energy. You're just gone. And now they realize this wasn't a phase. This was a rebirth. Men are not afraid of things, but of how they view them. Epictetus. And when the avoidant ex sees you with new energy, new boundaries, new discipline, they don't just feel fear, they feel exposure, because now they have to admit to themselves that you were solid, you were present, you were a version of love they weren't ready for, and worse, you became better without them, and that's the regret they can't process, because if they were the one who left, if they were the one who needed space, then how the hell are you the one who came out stronger? That emotional boomerang hits them like they're happier without me. They actually upgraded their life. I was never the prize. I just convinced myself I was. This is the stage where they start rewriting the story again, but this time not to protect their ego, but to protect themselves from guilt. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe I wasn't ready, but I still loved them. Maybe I need to reach out, eventually. But it's not clarity, it's crisis. Because now they're the one scanning social media for clues. Now they're the one hoping for a sign. Now they're the one trying to decode you. And the silence, it starts feeling like a punishment they never saw coming. Here's what usually happens next. They either try to reappear with a breadcrumb, a memory, a just checking in message to see if the door is still open, spiral inward, avoiding accountability, sabotaging new connections, comparing every new person to the one they thought they'd never lose. You go full ghost, not because they're over it, but because they can't face it, because the idea that they had something real and let it die, it haunts them. But here's the power move. You don't wait. You don't hope. You don't obsess over what they'll do next, because you've already won. Not because they regret it, but because you outgrew it, and by the time they circle back, you're no longer the same person they discarded. You've evolved, leveled up, detached. So here's the mantra for the ones who truly get it, the ones who didn't just watch this series, but lived it. I disappeared and became unforgettable. Drop that in the comments right now. Whoever comments it first, you're getting pinned, because that line right there, it's not about revenge. It's not about games. It's about rebirth. They played the mind games. You played the long game. And now, checkmate. Let's move into the final message. You didn't just survive. You flipped the whole game. Let this sink in. You didn't block them. You didn't beg. You didn't burn bridges or scream your worth into the void. You simply vanished. And in that vanishing, you became unforgettable. While they tried to play it cool, you played it stoic. While they ran toward distraction, you ran toward discipline. While they performed for attention, you evolved in silence. And now, you're not chasing love, you're attracting it. Because by this point, day 21 and beyond, you're not asking, do they regret it? You're realizing, you don't even care. That's not ego, that's healing, that's power. The version of you they once had access to no longer exists. They played games. You built mastery. And here's the truth most people never accept. You don't need closure when your evolution is the closure. So if this episode shook something in you, if you're done waiting, done wondering, and ready to start winning without them, then week 4 is going to be your crown, because next up is week 4, when you win without them. This is where the story shifts from them to you. No more timelines, no more emotional chess matches, no more decoding the avoidant mind. You've outgrown the loop, and now it's time to ascend. In week 4, we dive into how to glow up in ways they never saw coming, how to become the one who walks away without needing applause, and why the ultimate revenge is thriving in silence. Because the truth is, the moment you stop needing them to notice your growth is the moment they can't stop watching it. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe right now and turn on all notifications. Because if you thought this episode was powerful, week 4 is your coronation. And if you haven't joined the channel membership yet, now's the time. Link is in the description. You'll get exclusive content, deeper breakdowns, and direct strategies to level up your mind, your game, and your future. Comment below the secret mantra if you haven't already. I disappeared and became unforgettable. Let them wonder. Let them regret. Let them chase a ghost they'll never touch again. You're not playing to win them back. You're playing to never lose yourself again. See you in week 4, King. Let's finish this strong.